Hello, this is a copywriting critique of Mind Guide Mary. I'm Patrick Stiles, a direct response freelance copywriter. You can learn more about me at patrickstiles.com. And to get started, this is the webpage that we are critiquing today. This is mindguidemary.com, and I was asked by my friend Toby at imobilemediamarketing.com to critique this site. Mary's not a client of mine, but I'm doing this as a favor, and it's a lot of fun. So let's get started. So this is the offer page for a campaign that they're putting together for basically a free coaching session, a free spiritual coaching session to help remove blockages, emotional damage, inner child stuff, things like that. And first off, the thing that comes to mind is that this header image is quite large, and on this screen, which is probably about the size of a laptop, it's taken up nearly a third of the space above the fold. So, and I just feel like that's a lot of wasted space. So the very first thing that I would do is remove this image down as much as possible to maybe right about there, if you can see where my mouse is. And then the other thing is that when I land on this page, I'm a little bit confused about what's going on. Even if I just saw its PPC ad that kind of explained, what this thing was about, I'm still a little bit confused. And I think that as it stands right now, it could have a high bounce rate. So the other thing that I would want to do is put like a little tagline up here in the top left of the page, because studies have shown that people read web pages like the letter F. So they start in the top left, and they scan to the right, and then they move down, and then they scan to the right, and they go like that. And that makes sense because in the Western world, we read top to bottom, left to right. So I would put a tagline up there, something like spiritual coaching to overcome your greatest life challenges, or spiritual coaching to helping you conquer stress, weight loss, and relationships, something like that, just so it's kind of like, oh, I get it. This is spiritual coaching. And then the person can move on. The other thing is that I might put the contact information over here on the right. And as you move this image down, shrink it vertically, the contact me is going to be right here. So they're going to be right next to each other. But, personally, I like to be able to find a phone number and email very easily when I'm on a website. If I have to hunt for it, I typically give up. So that's another thought, to put something right there. The only reason you wouldn't want to do that is because if you're tracking response and you don't want people calling, you want people opting in or something like that. But we can talk a little bit more about that later. Also, in my experience, most people are going to do a contact form over picking up the phone. Personally, I like to pick up the phone and get to the heart of matters, but anyways. So shrink that image. The other thing here, just with this nav bar, one, I would space it out so it goes all the way to the right. It'd be a little bit easier to read and prettier. And the other thing is I would switch these two buttons right here. One says contact me. The other one says free consultation, which is the offer of this page. I would swap those, because when I'm on a web page, I look in the top right to take action. In this case, it would be contacting Mary. If it's an e-commerce site, it's going to be to place an order. So I look for that right there in the top right. And then correspondingly, I look for the home button on the top left. So I would switch those two. And the other thing, and then moving into this, is that these are some annoying things that WordPress does. This is a WordPress site, and these are not the headlines. These are not meant to be in there. Those are generated by WordPress, which might be useful to somebody else. I've never found it useful, and it's one of the first things I remove when I boot up a WordPress site. And it's really easy to do. This is Google Chrome, inspect element. Come in here, okay, it's breadcrumbs, so that's what I would need to put into my child theme, and it's just a matter of display, none, and then there's another one. So it's even redundant, so it's going to look really kind of amateurish. People are going to think that these headlines are there on purpose, free coaching session, and that you're saying it more than once, and that doesn't make a lot of sense, and it's just wasting space and everything like that. So I would definitely get rid of that. And then moving in here, and that already just looks 1,000 times better in my mind. Those things are really annoying. So, and then this headline, are you ready to lose weight, improve sleep, relieve stress, gain confidence, create loving relationships, change careers, clear trauma, and find your inner calm? First off, that's just one big fat headline. It doesn't quite say the benefit. The benefit's implied by the nature of the question. What I would actually do with this is move this headline up to kind of where that breadcrumb was, maybe a similar size font. I would keep it black and I would make it italics, and I would turn it into an eyebrow. And, I would probably change it to something like, are you ready to overcome the blockages that are holding you back from living more life, losing weight, relieving stress, stuff like that. I wouldn't make it quite as long. And the other thing here is that I don't believe that people are walking around saying, I need to find inner calm. That's just my opinion. I could be wrong. Mary's not a client of mine, and if she was, I'd want to sit down with her and ask a lot of questions about what are the top things that people are coming to her about. And that's a great point, because if 80% of her clients want to lose weight, then that's what I'm going to hit in the headline, because that's her bread and butter. And if it truly is spread out evenly between these different types of issues, losing weight, improving sleep, stress, gain confidence in relationships, then I would make it work. But I would try to really kind of boil this down, especially in an eyebrow. I try to keep eyebrows to about one line in length. And then also, I don't know if people are walking around saying, I need a spiritual coach so I can change careers. Maybe they are, if they really kind of feel like if it's this dramatic life event and this huge change of what they've been doing. Let alone, are they walking around thinking clear trauma and find your inner calm? That's just my guess. I could be wrong. Further research would say one way or the other. But I would hit them, obviously with these things, but then also just kind of the blockages that they are feeling on a surface level of their pain and suffering, their emotional hot buttons, and it's like, are you sick and tired of fad diets, placebo supplements, relationship gurus making big promises with empty results? Are you ready to overcome this and actually make progress in your life to improving, your biggest challenges? Something like that. That's a little sloppy. I'm going off the cuff here. But anyways, I would try to get more at the core of the matter. And people might just be walking around just thinking, I am so stressed. I am feeling smothered by life. I am overwhelmed with my responsibilities. I can't sleep at night. I'm panicky. I get nervous in social situations, stuff like that. And then the other thing here out of these options is that relationships. I'm not sure if I would call it creating loving relationships, but relationships I think are huge, and that's something that's very physical, and it's really the human experience, and that's something that I might kind of hone in on as an emotional hot button right there. And so I would turn that into an eyebrow, and then in the same space, similar way to how this is laid out, although I might change the color to something like a blue or a red just to kind of make it pop out, is I would add in headline, and something like, how to get a free expert spiritual coaching to overcome the most difficult life challenges from stress, insomnia, or even weight loss, or how to lose weight, crush stress, cure insomnia, and have better relationships without fad diets, placebo pills, or endless hours in the gym. And that second one right there is effective because it's calling out what this is not. It's not placebo pills, fad diets, or endless hours in the gyms. I would also maybe kind of call out the relationship gurus. I think those guys probably deserve to be picked on a little bit. That's my opinion. So something like that. And in the headline, you don't need to make your whole pitch. You don't need to go in here and say, we're going to calm your inner child and do this spiritual process, and it's going to give you this, this, and this. I like to either go for the benefit, and when you're going for the benefit, the easiest way to do that is with a how-to headline. When in doubt, use how-to. And, just kind of list off what it is. Or go for more of a kind of shocking curiosity thing, like Georgia housewife discovers natural cure for arthritis while picking peaches in her backyard. Something like that. And then that's just intriguing. And then moving into the copy here, now is the time to start transforming your life. That's okay. Again, I don't know if people are walking around saying, I need to transform their life. Maybe they are. Maybe that's a clientele. But what I like to put right here is deck copy, and it would probably be justified on both sides. It would be in black. In fact, I would get rid of all this gray, and I'd make this font a lot bigger. That's very hard to read, and that's a big gripe with this site that I would change right away. But I would make this deck copy, and it could just be like, now you can get a free 30-minute session with a spiritual coach to discuss your most repressed, hidden, and deepest blockages that could be holding you back in every critical area of your life, from weight gain, stress, insomnia, and relationships, and you may not even know it. Now, this is not a headline. It's not a subhead, so it can be quite longer. That would be practically a paragraph. But that's what I would put right there. do you have something you want to change or achieve in your life? I would just kind of get rid of that. In fact, that could be a halfway decent eyebrow. The eyebrow doesn't really have to hit every benefit or hot button or anything like that. So that could just be like, do you have something you want to change in your life? And just be like, are you being emotionally blocked from the great changes in your life? Something like that. Kind of flesh it out, make it a bit more emotional. And then, after, I'd put the deck copy in there, I'd want to kind of start with, a if-then statement. And actually, they have one right here. If you want to speed up your success rate, then I'd like to help you do it with a special one-on-one personal transformative coaching session where we'll work together to ... and then some bullets. So that's decent. Personally, I would want to do something. If you're sick of fad diets, relationship gurus, placebo supplement pills that don't work, and just plain and simple want to get results, then this will be the most important message you ever read. If you've ever wanted to remove deep-seated, repressed emotional blockages that are truly holding you back from living more life, better relationships, weight loss, and crushing stress and insomnia once and for all, then this will be the most important message you ever read. And not so much of the soft ending of, I'd like to get together with you. If you're suffering like a dog, I'd like to help you. But it's just like, if you're suffering like a dog, here's hope. Here's water in the desert. Here's magic. Here's something that's going to change your life and really kind of transform your existence. And all copy at the end of the day is selling magic. It's not what the product is or how it does it. It's not the features. It's what it does, and that's the benefits. And in this case, it's actually a very real, very powerful benefit of emotional transformation, emotional surgery, and really kind of fleshing that out. So that's what I would sell up front and center. And keep in mind that this is for a free offer. So that's, correspondingly, long copy, short copy, there's no hard and fast rule that always works in all situations, but generally the lower the price of the item, the shorter the copy. Just like on an email opt-in form, we don't need to badger you with, 30-minute videos to get your email address. We just need to say, here's what you're going to get if you give us your email. Here's the benefits. Hand it over, and also keeping that entire pitch above the fold. Now, this one's a bit more involved, especially because the person would likely have to go and meet with Mary at her place of business and everything, and take their time. So this does require more selling, even though it is a free offer. It's not quite an email address. It's not, and it's beyond a free sample, which you could just kind of throw in the trash if you didn't like it. But this is going and meeting Mary face to face and getting into a session, and people know. People aren't dumb. They know that when they go to meet you in a face-to-face situation like that, they're going to feel obligated to kind of sign up for your package. They know that there's going to be some kind of hook, and that there's a pitch at the end of that session, because we're all in business to make money. Hopefully we're doing it in an honest, ethical way, and that we're enjoying it day to day. But at the end of the day, we need money to pay the bills and to buy food. So people see that coming. So they do need to kind of be sold to make sure that this is something they want. They're not just looking for free spiritual coaching sessions to fill their Saturday afternoons. So after I did the if-then statement of really kind of, dramatizing their situation and what I'm offering in the spiritual coaching session, then I would move into a statement that feeds into a story. And I would lead it out with something like, here's what this is all about. And I would make that bold colon, and then I would lead in. And I'd introduce myself as Mary. And I'd be like, hi, I'm Mary so-and-so, and I've been practicing this spiritual modality, this technique, this path for this long. I have this many clients. I have these certifications. I'm right here in downtown Littleton, or something like that. So I'd build a little bit of credibility. I wouldn't go into that too much. It wouldn't be more than half a paragraph. And then I would feed into it with Mary's story. And I don't know Mary's story, but I do know this, that at one point in time she wasn't doing this, and then she got into this, and now she's teaching this stuff. So, and likely, she was a student of these practices and then moved into being a teacher of these practices. And there's probably a really powerful story just waiting to be told right there, and maybe it's somewhere else on this website. I haven't seen much of it. But maybe there was a divorce, maybe there was massive, obesity, or a car accident, or just having no confidence and stuck in a minimum wage job, and just kind of like that desperation of not living enough life and wanting to kind of break out of that mold and not knowing where the answers are, and all the false starts that she could have gone down, from other gurus, self-help books, maybe supplements, depending on what her problem was, and all these different things. and she broke out of it. And not only did she break out of it, but she survived and thrived, and now she's the teacher of this stuff. So I would tell that story, and I would tell it shortly, in a pithy fashion, and get to the point, but that would allow the reader to put themselves in her shoes and identify with her and know that they can trust her as a fellow traveler on the same road, and that she's not just kind of somebody with a website or a business practice that's looking to make money. She didn't read about this out of a book, more than likely, but she's lived it and breathed it every day. And then this line right here is what I do like. And well, first off, our sessions, include together, visualizations, affirmations, inner child healing, regression therapy, NLP, meditation, mindfulness, past life regression, and spiritual practices. Wow, that sounds powerful. And what I would do here is I would kind of move this after telling Mary's story. I would move our sessions include together, or whatever. I'd probably word it different, but your free 30-minute session with me will include. And I might list out those things right there, and then I would list these bullets, which would be something like just more of a 1-2 punch on some of these. Like this first one is create a crystal clear vision for ultimate success, so you know exactly what you want, where you're headed, and what you need to do to make it happen. And that's good, but the first part is the feature, the vision. And then the second piece kind of gets into benefits, but it's a little bit of a hybrid. I would mix it up a tad, and just because it's still kind of on the feature side, and the big difference, a feature is what a product is, or a service, and the benefit is what it does for the person. And in this case, the feature would be, we're going to create a crystal clear vision for your success. And what that does for the person is it gives them a roadmap so they can achieve their success faster, with less effort, on their terms, without compromising at all. So, and you could even say something like create a crystal clear vision so that you can achieve your goals faster than you ever dreamed possible, with almost no effort at all. Because at the end of the day, people want easy, simple, cheap, no effort. They don't want to have to put the magic pill into their mouth to swallow it to transform their life. They want it just to happen to them. So telling them, and what you need to do to make it happen, that's kind of implying work. And then somebody's like, oh, this is a big grueling spiritual process, of connecting the dots and stuff. And I've already been on spiritual journeys and it didn't work the last time. And, they want something to be done for them. So that's kind of how I would spice up those bullets right there. And then just kind of moving into this, first right here, enter your information below or call Mary at blah, blah, blah. I would say call me, Mary, at blah blah blah, just because that switches to third person. The rest of this is in first person, which is very good. You want to talk to the person, you want to use the word you, and you also want to talk from a place of first person, instead of the royal we of we the people would like to hear from you. That's not the way it works. You're a person writing a sales letter to another person and asking them to take action. And getting into this contact form, when I first looked at this site, I thought that this was a WordPress comment section. I find this contact form just a little bit intimidating, kind of like a hurdle that the person has to jump over, especially when there's more copy down here. And I think this is like visual contact form. I'm not a fan of it. What I would suggest is contact form 7. To use in this case. I've been using that for a long time, big fan of it. And since this is going to be promoted with PPC, they need to track results. And maybe this thing can maybe this can redirect to another URL. But in my research, most plugins don't do that. But Contact Form 7 has a little snippet of code that you can place into the advanced settings, and it will redirect to another page that you wouldn't want on your navigation, of which basically says that the person converted. And then when they're bidding on placements and keywords with their PPC, they can find out what's working and what's not. And then they'll also know something about how many people are converting into paying customers, how what's the average length of time that they stay in sessions with them, and adding up all that money less cost, that's their average customer lifetime gross profit. And that's the number that I like to work off of to target my CPAs when I'm bidding with PPC. So I would use Contact Form 7. That's the bottom line right there. Oh, and also, really hate this. Please enter any 2 digits with no spaces, example 12. So I guess like anything like 37, 36 would work, but not like, 333 or whatever. So that requires thinking. I don't want anybody to have to think when they come to one of my websites. I want them to be able to just kind of, emotionally respond to what's going on, in the pitch, and to desire what I have to offer, and to take action, in the most simplest terms. So not a fan of that at all. And, Gmail runs my business emails, and their spam filter is great. I never have a problem with much spam coming in off of a website. And if it is, it's typically a VA from overseas that's filling in web forms, and he would be able to figure this out. So either way, you're going to get that in that case. So I don't find these things very effective. Of course, if it got out of hand, you'd get rid of it or add it back in. All right, and then this line I feel is very weak. Oh, look, and it's telling me I did something wrong. All right, so anyways, this line, not crazy about. Since we're making this offer for the first time right now, and we don't know how intense the response will be, we can't guarantee a coaching session for everybody. First off, I would just say, I wouldn't come from a position of weakness of we don't know what's going to happen here. I would just say, like, the response for this has already been huge. Or we expect it to be huge, and you better take action right now. Or this is only available to the first 10 people. Or something like that. And this is really kind of getting into the offer. And the offer is practically the most important thing of any sales pitch. And this is for a free session, which is a really good offer. I'm not a fan of giving things away for free, as a business practice. Oftentimes, people that want stuff for free don't necessarily turn into paying customers. So it kind of comes down to what you want to do. And maybe, this will have a very good flip rate of the free session into paying customers and stuff like that, especially if they get with Mary and she's able to deliver results, which I'm sure she will. But still, in the beginning, another way to approach this would just be like maybe a deeply discounted first session, or typically maybe she sells packages of 8 sessions at a time. So some options in that case would be to discount the first session, or to offer a introductory, first session and just give it an outstanding guarantee. Like if your friends don't accuse you of having a personality transplant and having more energy, more confidence, and feeling the freest and happiest you ever have in your entire life, I will gladly give you back every penny that you paid for this already deeply discounted, first 30-minute session with me, where we will identify this, and this, which will help you achieve this, and this. So, and that's a strong guarantee where it's really removing the risk, it's selling on the benefits, and it's creating this really kind of far out expectation that they are going to have a personality transplant, that people are going to be accusing them of this, that people are going to be like, what have you done with your old self because you're a new person? And here's the thing. That's the same type of guarantee as a satisfaction, right? At the end of the day, especially because it's arbitrary. But at the end of the day, if somebody wants their money back, they're going to get it either way. So it's 100%, satisfaction guarantee, which sounds very flat, sounds very dry, and most people expect that sort of thing from a guarantee, and they go, yeah, ho hum, we get that every other place that we go. So giving an outrageous guarantee would sell more, and then it could also be the equivalent of giving away the session for free if anybody takes you up on it. And let's just say that 25% of the people take you up on the guarantee, which would be a terrible return rate. But that's still only 25% of people got a free session compared to, the other 75% of people that are paying for that first session. And then you're already moving people into your pipeline. And then the other option to do with the offer would be to do a packaged offer, or something like that. And you could do it in conjunction either with the free session, or you could do it with the first paid session that's highly guaranteed, and then offer the package, or Mary could bring this up at the end of her session, and she could even have like a little handout that she gives people. Although ultimately for the most effectiveness, she's going to want to kind of close them at the end of that session. So maybe leave 10-15 minutes afterwards just to be like, I feel like we made a lot of progress here, and we've identified this and this, and we're going to work on this in the upcoming sessions. When do you want to book your next visit, or something like that, and just do the assumptive close. But the package offered could be, maybe Mary charges $50 per hour in a normal session. I don't know what her prices are, so you'll have to go find out for yourself. But $50 a session for 8, that'd be $400. And so maybe she offers 8 sessions for $299 or $199, for a limited time only. And that would be another way to not give something away for free, but have a screaming deal that people are going to want to take her up on when they hit this website. Some other things that she could definitely do. And here's the thing, Mary is a face-to-face business, local business where people are coming to her to get services. I don't know if she does anything over the phone. If she was willing to do that, I would spill that out somewhere in here, and maybe leave the call to action right here, clean it up with contact form 7, and then lead into something like this session is not this and this and this, and sell against the fad diets, the gurus, this, that, and the other, or maybe other spiritual practices. Although typically when you're positioning, you want to position against apples to oranges. This is not a glorified sales pitch. This is not a weekend retreat where you're going to walk on coals or anything like that. This is not high level wishful thinking, but this is real nitty gritty, rubber to the road kind of practical applications of this, and this, identifying your emotional blockages, where they're showing up in your life, and how you can counteract them in real time so that you get better results from life, live more, lose weight, everything else. And so I might sell against what this isn't right here, and then go into the kind of the offer or so. And that's if you're going to have a dual conversion path here. And then I would put something that says, we can either do this over the phone in between 7 a.m. and 9 p.m., 6 days a week, at your convenience, or you can come to my downtown Littleton, Colorado office where, you can get hands-on, where you'll get hands-on applications with me. But I would kind of explain what they have to do in that sense. And that's kind of a question of what Mary wants to do. Does she want more leads that may not be prepared to drive to Littleton, especially if she's not willing to do the phone thing? Or, does she really want like a super qualified lead? Personally, I take the more leads, especially because their PPC is going to be geo-targeted, where it's only going to be shown to people within a proximity of a zip code in the first place. So most likely, most people will be qualified. So then I would do that. Then I would do the other, and then I would do the guarantee, or into the other call to action, just so they could convert twice there. And then one thing that she could do just to pick up any last minute people that are still on the fence is be like, still not sure, get this free report on identifying your emotional blockages, that are holding you back in life, so that you can, know what you need to heal to make your life better. And that could be kind of like an opt-in right here or in the footer, kind of a ways down below the opt-in, because you don't want them to think they have two options. You want it to be somebody that's just like, nope, no thank you, I'm moving on. What's down here below? That would, be a place for her to get some emails and then do email marketing to those people where she's dripping on them and kind of following up and trying to get them into her paying practice. The other thing that I think might be a good business move for Mary down the road would be creating an info product. If she could package her sessions into an info product, she could definitely sell that. She could definitely do opt-ins to sell that product. And she could also have a paid membership site with a form and where she's coaching people, maybe doing conference calls once a week where people are able to kind of jump in and ask questions, talk to each other and stuff like that. And she's creating a community. And that could be something, where maybe one of her sessions is $50. And then she's doing this paid membership site with limited coaching, in a group environment for $50 a month. And she could sell that as being equivalent to maybe 10 sessions a month. So it's 90% off, where that would normally cost $500 to get that much time with her one-on-one. Then they could get it for a tenth of the price. And that could be the same thing with her info product, where it's like, we're going to cover what I would cover with you if you join my practice and we went through the first dozen dozen sessions, where that's $600. You can get it today for, $57 or whatever, she comes up with. So yeah, and then that is it. Here's her little map. Obviously, if she's only willing to take people face to face in downtown Littleton, then I would put that next to the blurb where I'm talking about that. And then also this picture right here of Mary, I would put it up here, if you remember in the copy where I was talking about after the if-then statement. I would start the paragraph with, here's what this is all about. I'd build a little bit of credibility and then go into Mary's story, and I'd have her picture right there where people are seeing her and kind of figuring out what she's all about. So this concludes the copywriting critique of Mind Guide Mary. If this copywriting critique made you want to hire me to do some copywriting, come and check me out at patrickstiles.com. And if you also have a website or anything else that you would like critiqued by me, feel free to contact me again through patrickstiles.com, and I'd be happy to consider some of your work for a copywriting critique. These things are a lot of fun. I enjoy doing them and hope to do more of them. So feel free to contact me via that way. All right, and also don't forget to subscribe to my channel and leave comments below the video. All right, take care.